Dun, 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 dun. Hello there. It is I, Gamer Zero, and I am back. And I'm here to do some more Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. So let's get right into it. We're going to continue from where we left off. And I don't remember where that is. So I believe we got jumped. I remember that. They shut the train down and then we got jumped. You know what's the worst feeling in the world? When it's hot at nighttime. Like, this is ridiculous, man. I don't see how people can't believe global warming is really not happening. It's not happening. It's fake news, bro. That global warming is not fake news, bro. Alright. So do we have, oh yeah, that's right. Not only do we have some money, but we also have karma. So let's go ahead and level it up. We're gonna go all in on willpower right now, because I need that. We need key casting. All right, we got another spell book slot, and we got another spell that we're able to use. Okay, so the next up is my spell slot. Can I put some in there? How do I do my spells? I guess I gotta go to my stash. Samuel Beckenbauer. Hello again, mein Freund. What can I do for you? I'd like to talk about your organization. He nods. Yes, of course. Please go on. Are you accepting donations? The work program has been rousing a success. At this point, we only have one more goal in mind to round out the year. I have been in negotiations with Herr Burak Ghazi to lease another building in the Cruise Bazaar. And to be honest, I'm probably not going to stop doing the accents, because it's just, I don't even remember half of these guys' accents, and it's just too much. Like, if anything, what I will do is, depending on what race they are, I'll possibly do variations of voice, like they're troll, you know, I'll talk like this, or they're just like an orc, or, you know, stuff like that. But I've been in negotiations with Herr Burak Ghazi to lease another building in the Cruise Bazaar. The construction is much more modern and sturdy than our old shelter. Our people would be better protected in there. In addition, the extra floor space would open up a host of new options for our organization. One other thing, Zero, if we reach this goal, I would like to name the building after you. You are, after all, our primary benefactor. With 500 new yen, we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Here, just take what you need. I've got you covered. Samuel's eyes widen. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, mein Freund. No, not a big deal, Sam. Do good with it. I don't know what to say, Zero. With this donation, we have reached our final goal. I will speak with Burak Ghazi immediately and provide him his down payment. The Zero Civic Center will stand as a monument to your generosity and care. Thank you once again. You have been a godsend to the poor of the Cruise Bazaar, and I will see to it that they know. The Zero Civic Center. It has a nice ring to it. I am happy that you're pleased. You've more than earned it. Let's talk about something else. Very well, if you wish. What would you like to talk about? No questions. I'm just passing by. Lane looks to have mostly recovered from whatever happened the other day. A few butterfly stitches keep closed the lacerations on his face, and his damaged prosthetic looks to be functioning normally once again. And what brings you around all today? I want to talk about what happened the other day. The old soldier glowers, but gives his physical handicaps and his recent injuries. But given his physical handicaps and recent injuries, he hardly makes for an intimidating figure, troll size notwithstanding. Hang my hoop. I'm not a child, man. I'm not helpless. And even if I was, leave me to what fate I've earned. Who was it? Someone who heard an unfounded rumor. A rumor that me joining up with work, presumed favorite poly club among us trogs. Maybe he was humanist. Or maybe just another Flux fanatic who thought the balance of power would be upset by me joining up with Orc. I don't know and I don't care. I just want to be left alone. What do they want? He wanted to dissuade me from lending my voice or experience to any pro-metahuman parties. I tried to talk him down, tried to explain my fighting days are done, but he wouldn't believe me. Bastard made a liar of me when I beat him with my crutch. Will they be back? Not if they know what's good for them. Last time, they caught me alone, taking a shortcut through an alley. I won't make that mistake again. I'm sticking close to home, and close to Samuel, and his people. They won't shy away from a fight. Alright, we'll leave it at that then, for now. The old troll just grumbles. I'd like to hear more about your part in the Euro Wars. Lane sighs, his weight settling on creaking legs. Problem with a tight-knit community like the Cruise Bazaar is that you can't escape who you are. Fine, you want to hear it? I'll tell it. The old troll leans heavy on his crutch and takes a steadying breath. I was a colonel in the Finnish army during the First Euro War. The Jaeger Brigade was mine. For decades, we used ATVs, not Nasus and bandwags mostly. Bandwagens mostly. Jesus Christ. Slow, lumbering things, but built for the snow of the Lapland. I was the one who changed all that, moving us over to T-birds. I made us fast and nimble. The Russians were still slow, and though they had us outnumbered and outgunned, we could run circles around them. I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure who, but the comparison was made to Rommel. Arctic Fox followed soon thereafter. But I don't celebrate that title. Far too many young soldiers died under the command of the Arctic Fox. This is why some asked me to fight, and this is why I refuse. I won't take up any more of your time. Damn, bro. Simi Kim weaves an awkward dance through scattered refuse. Her too thin legs wobble, but she keeps her footing throughout. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there will be sun. We could all use a little sun down here. It's not literal sun, silly. It means tomorrow will be a better day. Monica used to say something like that. When I was tired, when I was sad, when I only wanted to sleep, she would tell me that. She told me I would forget, that the pain would go away. I lived many lives, but I've been an orphan more times than anything. It was the first story I found when I needed to get away. Anybody ever try to get you off the Sims? But I need them. Monica understood that, and Zach says they're safe. I don't know what I'd do without them. Without them, I dream. And I don't want to dream. I don't want to remember. They help me forget. They help me be strong and smart, and I never lose anyone. That makes it a good thing, right? Can't run from your problems forever. I know. So, do you like it here in the Cruise Bazaar? Kim turns her head so as not to look you in the eyes. Her posture is that of someone who fears the possible repercussions of her answer. It's good. I can get what I need from Zach Flash or Doc Escobar, and they let me pay however I can. Monica was always nice, and Paul Amsel, and the Angel is nice to me too, usually. I know Monica's gone now, but I can still stay, right? Of course you can stay, Kim. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I don't know what else I would do. Let's talk more another time. Alright. Do I have any data here? Nope. I do not have any data here. Cammy brightens up as you approach her, grinning widely. Hey there, L2 was just telling me you were around. I was wondering if she might be willing to trade a story or two. Alright, you first. What's the deal with you and L2? Well, the whole ears enhanced thing plus the barista junk. I knew that already. Well, alright, I suppose I've heard a lot about you around the Cruise Bazaar. It's only fair you know a bit about me. I never really went to school. Pretty much been a street kid as long as I can remember. And there was so much to learn from people outside of school that I never really bothered. Makes it difficult to get a job, so as all good street kids do, I choose a place to haunt with my friends and always hung out there. That was Alti's Cafe, and he was super nice about me and mine. I felt more comfortable with him than I ever did. Mine Vater. Her eyes narrow only for the briefest moment at the word, and we talked a lot when I was waiting around for my friends. He must have been fairly comfortable with me too, otherwise he wouldn't have offered me a job. Well, that's nice of him. Sure was, but speaking about too, I ought to be going. And you know where I'm going if you got anything for me, Ja? She grins and waves a little before bouncing off. Okay. Sure. Cafe says, is this the old girl here? This person's here. Okay. Let's go talk to Amsel. Matter of fact, I need to get money. Matter of fact, that's what I should do. I should go buy some new clothes because I am getting hurt badly out there. Zero, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I've been looking into the Harfeld Manor. Whatever Verschwingy is up to, it is both large scale and well funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all of that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfeld estate. How much money are we talking about here? I can't name an exact figure, but we're talking about a lot of money, in the millions of new yen most certainly. Whatever the Fire Wing is planning, she has access to all the resources she'll need to carry it out. Alright, so the dragon has money. This isn't exactly new information. The Harfeld Manor reeked of wealth. True, but at the very least, this information helps to establish where all of that money is coming from. I will continue digging into this while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck, I will have more information to share upon your return. Sounds good, Paul. One last thing, Zero. Maltese was able to restore the readable surface of one of Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you will find it sitting beside the player. I'll check it out. Very good. Maltese is still working on the other DVDs from the bundle. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything out of them is proven to be quite a chore. Anything off of them is proven to be quite a chore. She told me she'll be in touch if and when she makes any headway. Thanks, Paul. Sangai very much. Dietrich greets you with his familiar wry smile. Zero. What's new? I'm curious, Dietrich. Why did you switch from fronting a band to running the Shadows? Honestly, working the stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting, screaming at the world was fine and good when I was a kid, but it just didn't do it for me anymore. The Dragon Slayer wanted me to fight a real enemy, so I left the band behind and I turned to the Shadows. He shrugs. I don't know. Guess I figured that'd be the best way to find one. Considering current events, I say you're not wrong about that. Yeah, I guess not. Feels kinda daunting, truth be told, but it's exciting all the same. I've been looking for a worthy adversary for a while now. It's kinda satisfying, having a white whale to chase. How long have you been looking for a real enemy? He shrugs. Not too long. Ever since I took down that last one. The last one. Of course, I might Of course, I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself if I follow the Creator or the Moon Maiden, but the Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. If I'm not drinking, I'm fighting. And if I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for a bigger, better fight to get in next time. Dietrich produces a flash from his jacket pocket and raises it in salute. It's a remarkably simple code to live by. Who was this last one? Gang boss. A great big orcish bastard called the Wild Schwain. Led the local chapter of the Horde. I had my sights set on him and his for a while. They'd hurt a lot of people, and I figured they'd pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that, but I took him out in the end. Dietrich, when does this pattern end? Well, boss, the way I figure it, it'll end when I pick a fight that I can't win. He smiled sadly. Might be this one. Maybe the next. It'll be hard to top a great dragon. But that's the way the Dragon Slayer wants it. And who am I to refuse him? Abruptly, he turns away. That's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, you've got other things to do, I'm sure. Thanks, Dietrich. Iger offers you a shallow nod, Zero. Do you trust me, Iger? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally, she nods. Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. I haven't always agreed with your decision, Zero, but you've proven your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge it. Then tell me what happened to your team. This again? Why do you even care, Zero? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you'd still be with them, and a good leader places a priority on knowing his team. She slowly nods. Alright, I'll tell you. I suppose that you deserve to know. What happened to us was Hoffman. He was a rookie, the kid of some big money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, and he made it through KSK training, so he was technically qualified to join a team. But he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him an assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our 9th squad mate, despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flashing forward a few weeks, we were closing in on one of the Russian mob's major trafficking operations. They'd been using a series of warehouses 50 miles from the border as a staging area for their convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When the convoys came, they'd be crammed into cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go to any brothel along the border and have a look around. Chances are, you'll find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob has been smuggling them over for decades. But we were in a position to derail their operation, and we weren't going to let our new addition slow us down. We hit them by surprise, and we hit them hard. Fisher and Braun managed to take down the Banshee that they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead providing battle tac feeds to the rest of us, and we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, and we had cover and concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. They might as well have been fighting ghosts. Then Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position, and after that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first. The sound of it will haunt me for the rest of my days. An explosion, a choked scream, and then his long, drawn-out gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went down with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details, Zero. Suffice it to say that my team was wiped out. Iger's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well in her eyes. I watched Metzger die. With visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself. Had to drag myself back across the Oder-Neisse line into Germany. I almost died. So that's the story. My KSK career died with the rest of the team. Our mission was illegal after all. off the books. There was no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks you in the eye. Her tone is impassive. Did that tell you everything you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied now? Yes. Thank you, Iger. So tell me, what's your takeaway from my tale of woe? I figured that you've got to have one. It doesn't matter what I think. What you think and how you act on it is what's important. She pauses to consider. Normally, I call that a cop-out answer, but I guess there's some truth to it. In any case, you don't need to worry about me, fearless leader. My baggage isn't going to hurt my job performance or anything. You might be thinking that I judged you too harshly in the beginning because of Hoffman, and you'd be right on that count. I probably did. But everything else that I said after Monica died was justified, whether you want to believe it or not. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision, made for the wrong reasons. I stand by that assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk, and you've grown, Zero. You weren't the right choice to lead before, I still believe that. But you are now. Thanks, Iger. Good talk. She nods. Until next time. Glory's pallid face lights up as you approach. A genuine smile spreads across her lips. Zero, good to see you. You too, Glory. How are things with you? She paused for a moment, considering. You know what? I'm happy. Actually, for the first time in a long time. I have to thank you for that. I have you to thank for that, my bad. Are you ready to tell me about that chrome you're sporting? Be patient, Zero. The explanation for that is coming. A look of unease fills across her face. I'm not sure that you're going to like it, though. You needed time, and I gave you time. Are you ready to talk about First Stella yet? Yeah, Glory looks troubled. More so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memory she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Zero, look. I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that. And if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that's what I deserve. That I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her expression grim. So tell me, are you sure that you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think that we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Zero. Thanks for being a friend. So when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of First Stella. Marta and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was, but he seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a P level? Like a P level, I guess. Best guess, I say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, with a neatly trimmed beard and a thick brown hair. And there was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw, magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him, and to be a part of his inner circle, and soon enough, we were. For a girl of 17, it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us. rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Firstella would be the focal point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own childish experience, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the Horn God, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I've heard of the Horn God. His followers have a poor reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputation that they might have gained is well deserved, but there was more to it than that, as you'll see. Glory sighs. Hang with me, Zero. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his Horn God, and through it, I learned power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived at Firstella as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls in the commune, including my beloved Marta. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point I didn't care. I embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's Horn God was not the Eichenfürst worshipped by the throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? Educate me. Satan, Lucifer, Old Scratch. In the magically active community, it's every bit as bad as it sounds. In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary. Whatever you choose to call it, it's every bit as bad as it sounds. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I don't care. I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point, I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Firstella was nothing more than a honey trap. Excuse me, sorry. Carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. I didn't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Crusaders might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil. So the opposite of that, I figured, had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I can't excuse the choices that you made, but I can understand why you made them. That's big of you, Zero. I genuinely mean that. Glory takes a moment to steel herself, then continues on. Anyway, one day, Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Verstelle, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of cruise ridders getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached a point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I'd long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course, the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream and I broke into hysterics, I heard the adversary laugh. And at that moment, I realized that it was laughing at me. I'm so sorry, Glory. Glory nods, a grim expression on her delicate face. Thanks. We're almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever had been pulled all at once. The bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who'd willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do. So I bit my lip and I did my best to ignore the happy babble on the new recruits on the trip back to Verstelle, and I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all the commune's resources, and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized that what I'd done or whether he even cared. All that I know is nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers? The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied to your own soul? Oh God, Glory. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could find, pointed at all the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display, and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence, and that once it was gone, I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, Zero. You've heard the tale. You know why I am the way I am. You know the things I've done, and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. Jeez. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right hand corner notifies you that you have 6 unread messages. You have 6 unread messages. The screen flickers to life and Maltete's face appears from the shifting background and ambient noise. It's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Hoi, Zero. Just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all the files on it, but I think that you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. Metbach Ganari 2-0. If you value new hardware coming into my cruise bazaar, we need to talk. One of my weapon shipments was hijacked by a local gang. I can promise 500 new yen, and if you can recover the shipment, I'll have some new gear on the shelf. Come see me for the details. Withheld 2-0. We would like to arrange a meeting between you and one of the representatives. You will find him at the cafe nearby. His name is Luca Jur. He will be expecting you. Come alone. The screen flickers to life, and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin, and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, Muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favorite Poly Club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you'd want to share in the good news. And thanks for your help back there. I don't think we'd have made it out of there without you. He raises a hand in salute. Take care, Zero. Alexander 2-0. Hey Zero, Uncle Dietrich told me that I could message you here, so I figured that I should. He probably told you that I'm living at Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different, I'll give it that much. I like that I don't get pressured to hurt people here, so that's good. And nobody smacks me around, even though I can tell that a lot of the Trog orcs and trolls want to. I do get yelled at a lot and called a lot of names, but I guess that making me feel bad about that kind of thing is all part of the plan. Life kind of sucks right now, but at least nobody is going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will. I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly wanted to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanist compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have, but you didn't, and I'm really glad about that. Escabel, Dr. Zabier 2-0. Come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter we need to discuss. Okay. You submit the job as finished and await the client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. Air Fuchs 2-0. An excellent job, Zero. You are a credit to your profession, and I would not hesitate to hire you again. Your fee will be transferred to your account immediately. Fuchs. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox, your payment details. Payment from client, 15,000 new yen. Deductions for crew salary, 4,000 new yen. Ammunition and resupply costs, 1,000 new yen. Automatic deduction for Alice funds, 7,500 new yen. Remainder sent to Zero's account, 2,500 new yen. Payment transfer complete. Shadowrun connection established successfully. Link _ STR 100% spoofing 1. Group _ info null anon. Welcome to Shadowland. Post the sharing pharma AG chemical research data. Attach data to escrow account. Data will be automatically sold to the highest bidder. Both parties will remain anonymous throughout transaction. Posting successful. Posting will remain active for 2 days. Pending transactions. Humanist safe house data. Data sold successfully. Winning bid 460 new yen. Escrow fee 10%, 46 new yen. Funds sent to Zero's account 414 new yen. Alright, so we're making a little bit of money on the side, you know what I mean? Dante, you're coming with me, boy. Woof. So we've got to go and talk to Escabel. You know, I should talk to Blitz. Blitz stubs out a cigarette at your approach. Zero, I was hoping that I'd see you. Do you have another run lined up for us yet? I'm strapped for cash. Why the hell are you strapped for cash? With the amount of work we've been doing, you should be rolling in new yen. What can I say, Chief? He tries on a thoroughly unconvincing smile, but immediately seems to think better of it. The anxious look returns to his face. I have expensive tastes. I was hoping for a straight answer. You've got a talent for deflection, Blitz. And you're annoyingly persistent. If you must know, I'm in debt. That's where all the money's going. In debt. To who? He hesitates before responding. When he does, his voice carries an edge of annoyance. No offense, but this is getting a little too personal, Chief. My debts are none of your business. If some bookie sends his thugs here looking for you, it's going to become my business. So talk. Now. Blitz shakes his head in exasperation. Alright, fine. First off, you don't need to worry about anyone coming after me. My debts are to a bunch of old contacts. If I don't pay them, I'm gonna lose them. And in this line of work, it isn't smart to burn bridges. Second, before you ask, those debts are for services rendered. I was in a tight spot. I needed some help, and I threw around a lot of IOUs to get it. Third, and finally, the trouble I was involved, a girl. I'll tell you about it if you ask me to, but we're verging deep into personal feelings territory. So if you don't want to hear me sob all over my ex-girlfriend, you'll drop the subject now. So it's up to you, Chief. You really want to go down this road, or shall we keep this relationship professional? You're clearly preoccupied with this. In our line of work, preoccupied can get you killed. So spill it out and we'll deal with it. Blitz meets your gaze for a moment, then looks away and sighs. Alright, where to begin? I met Emil in Drogen Keepe. She was the first person who was ever more important to me than myself. I was crazy about her, Chief. To this day, she's the only person I've ever met who could outdeck me. And the real kicker is that she wasn't even a decker by trade. There was nothing she wasn't good at. I like to dabble in rigging, but Emil, that girl could pick up anything that she set her mind to. Sounds like a hell of a girl. She was. She just made things right. No matter how stupid I was, no matter what I got myself into, she made it right. I don't think much of many people, Chief. Emotional attachments aren't really my thing. Love seems like a diluted word these days, so I won't waste it on Emil. Let's just say that she was important to me. And then I lost her. I didn't know what was happening. It came out of nowhere. One day she was just gone, along with most of my decking gear. The only explanation was a handwritten note on an old-fashioned paper. Leave me alone. That was it. We'd been together for years, and that was all she left me. That and this beat-up old cyber deck. Naturally, I freaked. We'd had our share of arguments, but we'd never had a huge blowout or anything. I couldn't think of anything that'd drive her to do a thing like that. Mostly, I felt hurt, so I searched for her in the real world and in the Matrix. And when that turned up nothing, I started tapping my contacts. And that was when I started racking up debt. And so, did you find her? No, she's gone, Zero, without a trace. I looked high, I looked low, I poked into everything I could think of, and my contacts did the same. He shakes his head. She's gone, Chief. At this point, I've accepted that, but I still have to repay those debts. I feel for you, man, but you're right. Best to leave the past in the past. Pay your debts and move on. Yeah, you're right. Of course. Thanks for the talk, Chief. He talked to him again. One look at Blitz's face is enough to tell you that something is gnawing at him. He stands beside his table, playing with a coffee spoon. Oi, Zero, what you need? What's going on, Blitz? Well, Chief, I hate to admit it, but I might be in a little bit of trouble here. You don't say. There's an awkward pause, then Blitz plows on ahead. Well, you remember those creditors I told you about? The ones who loaned me all that money? Yeah. Yeah, well, as it turns out, some of them are a little less forgiving than I thought they were. Keep talking. Well, one in particular seems to have taken those things kind of personally. How personally are we talking here? I got a package in the mail. It had somebody's thumbs in it. Thumbs? Yeah, thumbs. They came in a cigar box, packed in salt. I have no idea who they belong to. I'm pretty sure that they're meant to convey some sort of message. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I don't want to lose my thumbs, Chief. I like my thumbs. I think that I need to pay this guy back. Luckily, I've got a plan. I know how to get myself out of hot water with meat grinder. I've got it all specced out. Alright, lay it on me. Well, there's this group out in Dragonfall. They call themselves the Landenberg Ring. They're a financial crime organization, and there's a lot of bad blood between them and Meat Grinder's operation. Anyway, back when I was running with Schwartz Hertzen, I laid out the groundwork for a hit on the Landenberg Ring. I was never able to make good on it though. For some reason, none of the gangsters ever volunteered to help out. With your help, I could steal enough money from them to cover my debt and get myself back into Meat Grinder's good graces in the process. So what do you think? A quick run, just you and me in the Matrix, with me in the Matrix and you as my man on the ground. We hit them, satisfy my debt, and laugh about it on our way back home. Sound like a plan? Alright, Blitz, but in the future, you need to be more upfront with me about things like this. No problem, Chief. Not a problem at all. You can count on me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some last minute stuff to take care of before we get started. Oh, and Zero, thanks. No sweat, Blitz. Meet you at the U-Bahn? No. Not as such, Chief. I won't be physically going to Dragonfall. I've seen enough of that place for one lifetime. I'll be jacking in from a terminal that I set up here in the Cruise Bazaar. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No way. If you want my help, you have to come with me. I'm not risking my neck for you on my own. Oh, come on, Chief. You won't be on your own. I'll be in the Matrix, helping out right alongside you. Besides which, you'll be better off without having to look for my meat body if I came in person. I'd be a liability. Trust me on this. You want me here, safe and sound, so you can be free to do your thing without having to worry about my body catching a stray bullet. Alright, Blitz. We'll do it your way. I'll send you a comm when I get to Dragonfall. Sounds good, Chief. Thanks again. That fucking piece of crap, man. It's a lot of reading, though. I could definitely tell you that much. A lot of reading, a lot of talking. All right. So you're Zero, huh? The late Monica Schaefer's replacement. He looks you up and down, then nods. Good. You look the part. Let me get right to business. My organization would like to retain your services for the indefinite future. But first, we're asking for you to go on a trial run, an audition of sorts, to prove that you're the right man for the job. Assuming that you complete this trial to our satisfaction, I will then offer you a variety of simple tasks. All of these should be achievable in the course of your everyday business. You won't need to go out of your way to expose yourself to much unnecessary risk. For each task that you complete, you will be rewarded handsomely, and there will be a bonus if you finish them all. So, have I piqued your interest? Will you accept our offer? Who do you work for? How did you know where to find me? My organization knows everything worth knowing in Germany, including this small pond that is Berlin. It is in our best interest, however, to remain unknown to the world at large. For the time being, that is all you need to know. What does this audition pay? I can offer you 1,500 new yen, but only if you complete the full audition, the run, and post-run interview to our satisfaction. If you fail to perform up to our expectations, you will receive no pay and no further offers of our work. That isn't much. It's an audition. The purpose of this trial is for you to prove your worth to us, not the other way around. Of course, you're free to decline if you wish. But know that there are hundreds of runners in Berlin who would kill for an opportunity to work for us. We came to you because we think that we see a glimmer of potential. If you prove us wrong, we will happily take our offer elsewhere. You know what? I got a decision to make here. Thanks, but no thanks. I got enough on my plate as it is. His expression hardens. Your loss. If you come to your senses, you know where to find me. I'll be around for a few days. Until then, good day. Come on, let's go, Dante. I need to go and buy some clothes. And whatever else I can, like, cause I am struggling right now. As you approach the counter, you find Absinthe counting a bundle of antique paper money in the till. She doesn't bother looking up. Dark things lie ahead for you, Zero. You'll wade through a sea of corpses before this night is through, with something at your back that I cannot see. She fizzes in agitation. I can't look any longer. I'm sorry. Another prophecy. The last prediction that you made came true. How did you do that? You were confused. I didn't do anything. I merely related what I saw. She blinks, then looks away. What I shared with you, it was an observation, nothing more. That's all that I needed. Be well, human. Hello again. May I help you? I have a question for you if you don't mind. You were in luck. I have a great many answers. Algernon, what did you know about the great dragon Verschwingi? The elf ponders for a moment, twisting a ring on his right hand. Verschwingi, the Firewing. That is a name that hasn't been heard in some time. Over 40 years, I believe. Though I cannot say for certain. Time and I do not get along. She was among the first of the great dragons to awaken, and the first to be killed by meta-humanity, or so the story goes. So the story goes. Of course, history is the version of past events that that people have decided to agree upon. Truth is something else. Absinthe interjects. A great dragon is not like other awakened creatures. Whereas a basilisk is nothing more than a Komodo dragon whose genetic structure was mutated by magic's return. A great dragon is a creature of magic, a creature that has seen more than one cycle of the world. This is the sixth. When a great dragon falls, the sound resonates across time and space. And therefore you would know? He opens his hand. I am merely suggesting that the story is incomplete. Verschwingi awakened along with Lofweir, Nebelher, and Kaltenstein around the first decade of this century. She was first seen over the Harz Mountains, and after a long flight announcing her presence, she began raining fire on every town and village she came across. Sounds like she woke up grumpy. Angry, deranged, or something else. What motivates a being such as her? No one knows. Verschwingi has never engaged in dialogue. German military forces are said to have killed her over the Sox the year she emerged. This, after months of fire, devastation, and terror. Her body was never recovered. So she could still be out there. I believe it is quite possible, yes. And I must wonder what effect the radiation from a nuclear meltdown might have had upon her. The Sox is an inhospitable region, to be sure. Any theories? Algernon crosses his arms across his chest. No, I do not deal in theory. Despite her death, there was a rumor that she had been seen over Iceland sometime after her fall, but has never been confirmed. Excuse me. Some speculate that the viewer witnessed her astral form and that her body still lies in the Sox. Now, is there anything else that you need to know? What can you tell me about the adversary? He raised an eyebrow. The shamanic idol, you mean? An unusual request. Why do you wish to know? It's my teammate, Glory. She spent her youth as a member of an adversary cult. It was kind of a bad scene. Interesting. He stands idle for a moment, considering. First, tell me what you know already. I will then do my best to fill in the gaps. I was told it was the embodiment of evil. Ah, I see. Very well, young human. I will tell you what I know. The adversary is the totemic embodiment of rebellion. It is an anarchist and a usurper, a betrayer of a symbol of defiance. It is a proud idol, utterly sure of itself and its mission. The majority of its followers are arrogant and cruel, not the most pleasant of people, truth be told. That said, the adversary can be interpreted in different ways, just as any idol or totem can. He offers you a half shrug. Some of its followers are worse than others. Yeah, I'm sure that they're a charming bunch. You joke, but shamans of the adversary can be quite charming. They are confident to a fault, charismatic, and they flaunt their willingness to break cultural taboos. It isn't unusual for them to attract large crowds of followers. So I've heard. And they use their influence to ruin the poor sheep that flock to them. Some of them do, yes, but not all. As I said, there are different ways of interpreting the adversary's mission, and not all of them are malevolent. After all, rebellion can be a positive force if it is harnessed by the oppressed. That said, trusting the adversary would be a mistake. It is a treacherous idol, and all of its alliances are temporary. This is not a world of absolutes, young human. I would not call the adversary evil, any sooner than I would be a more conventional totem, like shark or bear. All can be destructive, yes, and cruel, but none are intrinsically so. So the adversary isn't what I'd been told. The Christian tradition that much of Germany adheres to would argue that the adversary is Lucifer, yes, but many other traditions would disagree. You would do well to remember that you live in an oddity among sixth world nations. Traditional religious iconography still permeates German culture. It is any surprise that people here might lean toward viewing an idol like the adversary through a more traditional lens? No, I suppose not. Personally, I feel that calling the adversary a devil is an oversimplification of the truth. It is both more and less than Christian doctrine would have you believe. But this is a question for the philosophers. And now, young human, I have a question for you. No, not a question. A request. I would like you to tell me about your friend's dealings with the adversary. And I would like you to be thorough. It's a long story. He smiles. As luck would have it, I have nothing but time. Tell him Glory's story. Alright, strap in. After hearing your story, the talisman monger leans back in silent contemplation. Well, considering your friend's upbringing, it's no surprise that she views the adversary as a devil figure. She's interpreting her experience through the lens that she was given. That makes sense. The elf pauses, stroking his beard in quiet contemplation. The silence stretches for several seconds before he continues. I find this Harrow figure, the leader of your friend's old commune, to be deeply troubling. He is clearly a toxic shaman, working in the service of his own warped view of the adversary. I agree with your assessment. Harrow sounds like bad news. Bad news. Yes. That's one way of putting it. Such men have been responsible for many terrible things in the awakened world, and they are not to be confronted lightly. I'll be careful. I trust that you will. He inclines his head to you in a low nod. Best of luck to you and your friend both. I have a question if you don't mind. You were in luck. I have a great many answers. Have you ever heard of a gang called the Cruise Ritters? Sadly, yes. They're quite active here in Berlin. They're fascists, plain and simple. They cling to Christian doctrine to justify their actions, but they are killers first and religious fanatics second. It's 2054. Haven't we gotten past this kind of thing? No. If anything, the awakening served to fan the fires of cruelty and xenophobia that have always been present in human society. Our differences are more obvious and profound now than they ever were. Is it any surprise that the reactions of extremists have followed suit? I wasn't talking about cruelty. I was talking about religious fanaticism. That is a more complicated question, albeit a loaded one. We stand in a country that has clung to its religious heritage with considerable zeal. In much of the developed world, the awakening shifted public perception away from organized religion, but here in Germany, it had the opposite effect. While many developed nations have adopted spiritualism, some here might call it paganism, as their de facto belief systems, the Germany of 2054 remains a Christian nation. Whether that's a good thing or a bad one is open to interpretation. I take no stand on the matter either way. What do you believe? I am a simple traveler and a seeker of truth. I believe what I directly observe, and I have observed. His voice trails off, and a corner of his mouth twitches up into a smile. Much. In my view, all belief systems are essentially different ways of interpreting the same thing. Magic is an underlying force of the universe. It is a fundamental truth. Religion is the lens that societies use to focus the enormity of that truth into something that their people can understand. But what is the source of magic? Where does that truth come from? You ask questions that have no answers, young human. The elf strokes his beard, a contemplative look on his face. My experiences lead me to suspect that magic is its own source. You may, of course, choose to believe differently. It matters little to me either way. So you think that the world's religions are wrong then? Did I say that? No, young human. If anything, I am saying that all belief systems are equally valid. After all, they're all different interpretations of the truth. How can the truth be wrong? I don't buy any of this. We're dealing with fundamental contradictions here. If one philosophy says there's no God, and another says that there are hundreds of them, they can't both be right. Could a Kabbalist create a golem in his faith if his faith were misplaced? Could a voodooist Hongan commune with the Loa if they did not exist? Could a Shinto Kanushi channel the powers of kami spirits if they were figments of his imagination? All of these things happen in the sixth world, and yet the traditional form of many religion would each claim that the others are wrong. It is a conundrum, to be sure. The world's great religions have been struggling with it ever since the awakening. He offers you an apologetic smile. This is a problem that I cannot solve for you, young human. You'll have to find your own answers. Intriguing. Well, you've given me a lot to think about. It was my pleasure. Now, is there anything else that you need? Can I see what you're selling? Let's see what Algernon got for me. So definitely we're going to buy this. The combat vest. And then we are going to check and see what else they have. Quick strike. Okay, so I don't have any more spell slots, 1. And 2, I can't use these right now. Oh, I didn't buy the I didn't buy the clothes. Alright, now we're suited and booted. We're suited and booted. We're suited and booted. We're suited and booted. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, let's talk to the gun guy. Welcome back. You need some weapons, some ammunition perhaps? Got your message about that missing shipment. How can I help? He nods. Aye. A gang from a nearby Keats has been hijacking shipments bound for the cruise bazaar, taking money out of our pockets. I could use your help to stop this from happening. Your dear departed Monica used to provide encryption and information control for the cruise bazaar. Now that she's gone, we merchants have been having no end of trouble. The obvious answer is that a gang has been intercepting our communications. What kind of communications? Shipping manifests, payment orders, that kind of thing. A group with an agenda could use that information to set an ambush, and that's just what his gang has been doing. Several cargo trucks full of goods have already been hijacked en route to the cruise bazaar. I had a tracking device placed on the last shipment that I sent out. Containers full of weapons and medical supplies. Sure enough, it got taken, and I've tracked it to Sunbrunnen. Damn. If you've never been there, it's a Keats built out of an old U-Bahn station and some old bunkers. Rumor has it, a new gang called the Rabengeister, I don't know how to say it, is holed up there. I suspect that the two things are related. So, I need you to go to Sunbrunnen, find the Rabengeister, and get our goods back. I can offer you 500 new yen for the task. And if you can recover our missing weapons shipment, I'll be able to sell you some better hardware too. Can you tell me anything about this gang? About the Rabengeister? Geister, I don't know. He frowns. Not much, I'm afraid. From what I've heard, the Rabengeister are tricky. They have a reputation for stirring up trouble, then disappearing without a trace. I would tread carefully in Sunbrunnen if I were you. I'll see what I can do. No promises. That's fair enough. Just remember, if you can get that shipment back, I'll be able to put some better weapons on the shelves here. Hardware like that might come in handy for one such as yourself. And one more thing, Zero. I'm going to need you to go in light on this one. Take a friend along if you like, but no more than one. If you spook them, they could trash the merchandise. Best go quiet. Best go soon too, before the trail goes cold. Damn it. Hello. Let's talk more another time. Alright. Hey again. She nods at you. What you need? I don't believe that we've met. I'm Zero. Yeah, I know who you are. She takes a drag on a cigarette. How you holding up, champ? I heard what happened to your boss. It happens. Running the shadows is a dangerous line of work. She smirks, then lets the smoke escape from the corner of her mouth. Don't I know it? So you need something, or are you just going to stand there staring? Why'd you bring up Monica? Did you know her? I met her a couple times. She seemed nice enough. But I mostly knew her by reputation. You can't live in this Keats without hearing about the Queen of the Cruise Bazaar. She pauses. then slowly lets the smoke escape through her nostrils. Can't say that I was a fan. That's your prerogative. But then, you didn't really know her. That's true, but I do have eyes, and I can see that I can see what's been happening to the Cruise Bazaar since she got geeked. Whole place is falling apart, isn't it? And why do you think that is? Monica helped a lot of people. Now that she's gone, she can't anymore. Simple. The illustrious Frau Schaefer helped people, alright. She helped them so. She helped them so much that they couldn't make things work without her anymore. She made herself into a leader here. And guess what? In an anarchist system, there aren't supposed to be any leaders. Lucky Strike taps out her cigarette and leans towards you, a predatory grin on her face. You and your friends, you followed Monica too. Obeyed her orders without question, right? Not without question. There were debates. And at the end of those debates, Monica would put her foot down, and you would wind up doing whatever she said, right? She smirks at you. Don't bother answering. It was a rhetorical question. So much for rabid anarchists. Oh, for such a rabid anarchist, your friends seem awfully comfortable being in power. Kind of a contradiction in terms, don't you think? No, I don't. And I don't think that you know a damn thing about who Monica really was. She shrugs. Fair enough, you're probably right. I didn't know her like you do. I'm sure that she was a lovely person. All I really know is that your friend's death left a power vacuum, and that the Cruise Bazaar is less stable because of it. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to fix all that BS. There's another guy we gotta talk to, I believe. Oh yeah, the doctor. Gotta go talk to the doctor. How do I get to the doctor? Okay, I think his shop is where that purple neon light is, so I gotta go this way. Yeah, here we go. Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend? I hope that our recent misunderstanding won't have an impact on our ongoing business relationship. Misunderstanding? Zero. I'm sure that I don't know what you're talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not hearing me. I don't know what you're talking about. I know nobody in the sewers, and you know nothing of my extracurricular activities. As long as you're on board with that, our business together can continue unabated. Deal? Deal, Doc. Good news. Good. Now, let's move on to other matters. Do you have business for me? Some work you need done, perhaps? I got your message. What do you want to discuss? Business. I have a job for you. I'm a little surprised that you want to hire me. We haven't always seen eye to eye. That's true, we haven't. But I'm confident that you're the right man for the job. Why? Your reputation. You get the job done. You're right, I do. Let's talk about this job. Yes, good. Let's. Back before I emigrated here from my native Spain, I worked in partnership with a Berlin-based R&D lab. The biotech that they were developing was very hush-hush, very cutting edge. Our arrangement was that I would bankroll their research and that they, in turn, would provide me with unique merchandise to sell my clinics. Go on. About 2 years ago, things went sour. My name was slandered, and the fickle mistress that is public perception turned against me. An ugly business, I assure you. Even talking about my fall from grace makes my stomach turn. The injustice of it all is almost too much to bear. Just how was your name slandered? What did they accuse you of? He sighs. What didn't they? Theft, medical malpractice, the sale of stolen goods, other more colorful accusations that do not bear I do not bear repeating. But that was then, and this is now. I came here to Berlin to escape all of that. Of course, I also moved here to be closer to the lab that I'd funded and the merchandise that I am owed. So let me guess, you want me to go fetch your merchandise? Yes, and to find out what happened to the lab itself. The facility is locked down, you see, nearly impenetrable, and I have no idea why. As I was packing to move to Berlin, all was well. 16 hours later, I arrived to discover the building locked tight with my merchandise inside. The Turk, Al2, has been running surveillance on the site since I set up shop here. In that time, no one has entered and no one has left. Whatever went wrong in there, it must have killed the research team. I want you to find a way into the building, recover the cyber tech that they were developing, and find out what happened to the researchers in that order. Alright, let's talk compensation. What's in this for me? I can't afford to pay you in new yen, and that's your own fault, by the way. You shut off a good chunk of my revenue when you pulled that stunt down the sewers. But what I can do is give you the first crack at any biotech that you recover from the site and make it available to you at a discount. This is top of the line ware that we're talking about, mind you. Better than anything else that I've got in stock. And because it's biotech, the essence loss from implanting it will be minimal. It's a win-win, even for an adept like you. So what's it going to be? Will you take the job or not? Alright, Doc, I'm in. Excellent. The facility that you're looking for is the former laboratory of Suderlin Bioscience. Take the U-Bahn to the Adenauerplatz, and you're sure to find it. Best of luck. Alright, so we got a bunch of freaking jobs to do right now. So let's do one of these jobs. Let's go. Actually, hold on. I gotta go to my stash before I do anything. Oh yeah, and I should buy health kits and shit because I am. Yeah. If anything, I might take Glory on the next mission with me because. Okay, so we're gonna go to the stash. I got another spellbook slot. So let's go ahead and equip the Manifest. I got a good amount of stuff. Got a lot of grenades. A smart link pistol. Okay, so we should have all of our spells now. Let me check some. I've got a 0 in biotech, okay. Jesus Christ, how much karma? Like, I can't even, with this guy, I can't even get to a 10. So I can't use martial defense 2 with this guy. Well, actually, to be honest, there is one way to do it. And that's depending if I can get the clothes. Let me check something here. It's Dante. Oh. Oh. I want to see what my clothes do. No, I don't want to restart the level, bro. Unarmed and willpower +1, okay. So yeah, this does give me willpower, but I don't know if it gives me key casting now. Or okay, so I have a 7 now in willpower. What is this? Killing hands. Stride. Key onslaught, 3 attacks, and a single target with sword. Yeah, I don't have any clothes that give me key casting specifically. But I do have a +1 in willpower, so that is definitely going to help out. Dante, you're coming with me. Bam, 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 bam. Alright, we're going to do some of these smaller jobs here, definitely. I think one good job we should do right now would be the... Yeah, let's do a dinner plot station. We're gonna bring a whole squad here for this. But to be honest, no, we should do the small job first. Let's bring... Let's bring Iger. Nah. She's, okay. I'm gonna bring Glory. She's just better when it comes to certain things, and I feel like she's gonna be good for this job. Hard times. It is a short train ride to Jasunbrunnen. You exit the subway car, stepping onto the old, grungy platform. The place is deserted, though the signs of life are everywhere. A gaping hole in the ceiling filters cool, hazy light from above. To your right, a small plot of crops struggles to endure in the cold and the limited light of the station. Trash and junk litters the platform. It's clear that this place hasn't had anything resembling a janitorial staff in quite some time. Somewhere in this old, run-down U-Bahn station lies the entrance to Jasunbrunnen Keats, and hopefully some leads on the whereabouts of the Rabin Geister and Gennari's missing shipment. Okay. The old fluorescent grow lights are barely keeping the plants alive. Almost no light from the surface makes it this far underground. The stairwell down looks to have been completely collapsed. That's far enough, friend. An older man raises his hand, squinting as you approach. To his left, a young orc shifts his weight, resting one hand casually on a pistol at his hip. Both are dressed in what might be considered uniforms, but it's hard to tell for sure. We don't get many visitors down here these days. You'll forgive me for saying, but well, you don't really look like the type that usually comes through here. He looks fed, for one thing. The older man snorts, indeed. What brings you to Jasunbrunnen, stranger? I'm just passing through. Thought I'd check out the market here. The two guard exchange glances. Of course, of course. Customers are always welcome. Head on in. The older man steps aside. Watch your step on the ladder there. Some of the steps get slippery when it's cold. Thanks. Man, I am parched. The woman starts a little at your approach, but she recovers quickly and beams brightly at you. The fox face on her headdress seems to grin as well. Her classically nasal American accent is obvious. Hey kiddo, share a drink with me? Sure, if you're buying. Awesome. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of options here. They've got beer, a homebrewed gin, and schnapps. Pick your poison. I've been drinking gin and tonics. The tonic cuts out some of the gas flavor. I think they've been distilling it in old propane tanks. Ugh. I'll have one of those too then. Sure thing, guy. He fills a tumbler full of cheap gin and dirty ice. Splashes a bit of tonic in and slides it across the bar. Has a slight gasoline smell to it. The tonic covers up the gasoline flavor for the most part. It burns a bit going down. Listen, my name's Goldfish. What's yours? Call me Zero. Nice to meet you, Zero. Now that I've said my bit, what are you doing in a place like this? I'm looking for the Raven Geister. Raven ghosts. Might be anything in Brunnen. Seems like everyone and everything down here is a ghost. Ghosts of the past, ghosts of trains, ghostly thin folk pale for lack of sunlight. I need sunlight too. I like to joke. I photosynthesize, but it just gives me so much energy. Energy these people don't have anymore. Excuse me. Her expression grows stern for a moment as she stares into her gin and tonic. Maybe I've been down here long enough. Maybe I'm a ghost too. Alright, that's it for all nine. You're officially cut off. Your total is 36 new yen. Can I at least buy something for my friend here? He's been talking with me a bit and hasn't had anything. No, you're cut off. I don't want you even sipping out of it. Dude, chill. Forget I asked. She turns to you with a shrug. Sorry I couldn't get you anything else, but thanks for being a pal. Okay. Smells like something died in here. Upon closer inspection, it's just moldy soy cakes. Surface access has been welded shut, probably in an attempt to keep security tight. The crate appears to have been pried hastily open. There is a partially torn shipping label on its side. Most of the ink has worn off, but the word Cruise Bazaar is still clearly visible. Interesting. You notice a set of scuff marks on the ground as if something heavy was dragged across here. The marks vanish into the wall. Inspect the nearby wall more closely. You find a small seam in the wall that suggests there might be a passageway hidden in the wall here, but you can spot no clear mechanism for opening it. Maybe we should ask around. This looks like the place, so I'm sure someone might spill the beans. It takes some doing, but you manage to force open the false wall. The hinges give way with a scrape and a crunch, and the passage behind is revealed. The man before you is of average build, in nondescript dress. Nevertheless, he carries himself with a calm authority. He stares at you with cold, unwavering eyes. Hi, I'm Cordin. You know, if the Raven Geister wished to be found, we'd open a fucking cafe. What do you want of us, stranger? Say your piece. I'm from the Cruise Bazaar. You stole a shipment of supplies bound for our Keats. We want it back. He stares you down for a long moment, then breaks into a chuckle. Guess we were a little careless on that one. I figured with Monica Schaefer gone, the Cruise Bazaar would be an easy score. So that's why you're here? We stole your supplies, now you want them back? That's about right, yeah. Which I completely understand, stranger, believe me. But unfortunately, we need those supplies more than you do. So I'll have to graciously decline your offer to relieve us of your property. I can see things are hard around here, Corin, but I have to look out for my own keats, and that shipment belongs to us. Not from where I'm standing. Look, there's no need for bloodshed, I'll tell you what. It seems like you know what it's like to look out for a keats like this. It's not easy, right? We provide for these people. A haul like that shipment keeps Jason Brennan from going hungry just a little while longer. It's our home. These are our people. I suspect you feel the same about the cruise bazaar. So I'm prepared to let you leave, just like that, knowing our little secret here and everything. In return, all you need to do is walk away. Just walk away and forget this ever happened. Corin smiles. What do you think, stranger? I think it's a shame your guys didn't search us for weapons, Corin. Oh, this guy is dodging everything. Bro. They're all empty. Just full of old Simpsons recordings. A standard cyber terminal waits on the table before you. The screen is active, displaying a basic list of simple data queries. It appears that the Rebben Geister keep a detailed inventory of their stolen goods. A quick scan of the data indicates that while the medical supplies bound for the cruise bazaar are long gone, Gennari's missing weapons shipment is currently in a storage locker at Frankenfurter Tor. The locker number is marked as 49. You copy the information to your PDA and forward it on to Gennari. Yeah, that's literally the whole mission. Just beat up like 2 guys and then you're good. You emerge from the U-Bahn station and out onto familiar streets of the Cruise Bazaar. The energy here is a stark contrast to the weary, slow drowning mood of Jason Brennan. The Cruiseberg is an island of hope, afloat still amidst the dangerous currents of the flux state, but it wouldn't take much for it to capsize. It's time to find Gennari and tell him the news. What is happening right now? Okay, whoa. Oh, we gained 4 karma from that, bro? Whoa. I might want to just save that, because keycasting is going to be very important for me. Let's talk to Gennari. Welcome back. You need some weapons, some ammunition, perhaps? I took care of that business with the Rabengeister. They won't be hijacking our shipments anymore. A faint smile plays across the normally taciturn merchant's face. Yes, and my people have already retrieved a shipment. Exactly where you said it would be. Good work. How were you able to manage it? Let's just say those bastards got what they deserved for messing with the Cruise Bazaar. A cold smile flickers across his face. Good. That is good. Here's your payment as promised, and should you need any new weapons, thanks to you, I have some new merchandise available. Would you like to take a look? Yeah, let's see what you got. Alright, so he's got new weapons. One thing I'm looking for is a new sword, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it. Yeah, this is... Nope. Nope. Oh, I guess we leveled up too. Alright, let's go ahead and give her this. Let's give you that. Let's give you that. And let's give you... No, that. And yeah, confirm all. Make sure it's all confirmed up, and we're good. So yeah, let's save the game here, and on that note, I think I will call it. Just a lot of reading, a lot of shit like that, you know what I mean? That's Shadowrun, though. It's a very text-based, heavy text-based game. And to give my voice a break, let's take a break here. But you know I'll be back in the next episode, and depending on how I feel or not, I'll probably be back in the next few hours and possibly play another game, or I don't know. So, but thanks for anybody who stopped by to watch, and anyone who watches the screen cap or whatever, you know. Hope you enjoy. This is Gamer Zero, and I'm out of here. Deuces.